You cannot drop out of school and just drop into a good job.
Well, the president speaks directly to the school children of America, but many parents didn't like what he had to say. Looking to get married out of budget? Have I got news for you. The 99-cent store wants to host your wedding. What's that? Not the wedding day you were dreaming of?
I am gay, George. And
here it comes.
I think I'm in love with you. George, please take me. Choose me, George. Please.
Choose me too, George.
Please choose me.
In fact,
George,
choose our
may
show.
I kiss you, please?
The filter gives you the goods right now. What could be so wrong? The President of the United States talking directly to school kids. Do your homework. Achieve your goals. Didn't sound like a bad idea. It happened today.
You cannot drop out of school and just drop into a good job. You've got to train for it and work for it and learn for it. And this isn't just important for your own life and your own future. What you make of your education will decide nothing less than the future of this country.
Not every school made the president's remarks available because some parents complained. They didn't want socialism infused into the minds of young people. Our contributors tonight from RonKayLA.com, Ron Kaye, and author and doctor of social ethics, Charlotte Law. Charlotte, I'll start with you. Are there parents who spoke out overreacting, or do they have a point?
I think they're definitely overreacting, and I think this was just nothing more than partisan politics. I remember many years ago when Bush Sr. and Reagan were president, there were Democrats who were upset about him speaking to kids about education. And I think it's unfortunate that we have such a partisan politics going on in this country. And 40% of people identify as independents, and yet you hear Democrats and Republicans talking about coming up with some sort of a bipartisan decision. Well, it should be a nonpartisan decision to include everybody. But I think the speech was excellent. I think it brought people together. It was an opportunity for kids to talk to their parents, to talk to their teachers about these issues. And he was very Bill Cosby-like in what he said. Yeah, but take responsibility for yourself and persevere, and you can do anything you want in life.
But if it was Bill Cosby-like, at least he didn't peddle Jell-O. I think that's very important to point out. Ron, you agree with Charlotte?
No, it's just outrageous, this whole idea of kids studying hard and learning personal responsibility and thinking of their futures and respecting their teachers and parents. I want none of that. Seriously, I think it just shows the depth of divide. The Republicans who were outraged feel they're giving tit for tat to the criticisms Bush had. I think that's what we really need to worry about, is when people think the President of the United States is the playground dope pusher and don't have any respect and don't understand that we are all in this together as a nation, and that our dialogue, our conversations become completely uncivil. I think that's the lesson too many kids are going to get as they pick up on this conversation.
I'll tell you something. I personally don't agree with everything the president is doing, but I think he did the right thing here today. All right, let's move on. This has been a bad few days for the DWP. Actually, it's been a nightmare for the DWP. By now you have seen the tape of Coldwater Canyon, of course, looking like the Mississippi River. The water line burst over the weekend, and there is still no estimate on when Coldwater will reopen. And today, there was this. Another water line break in Valley Village, a.k.a. North Hollywood. A 22-ton fire truck fell into a muddy sinkhole. They're still trying to pry that thing out. Now, Ron, you wrote about this today. Do these problems mean our DWP bills are going up?
Well, your DWP bills have been going up, and the money has not been going into fixing the pipes. It's not been going into turning our electricity from green power. It's been going into salaries and benefits. The DWP's got a $500 million pension deficit disorder. It's been getting 6% raises. On October 1st, they get another 4% raise. Their workers, I mean, it's one thing the guys are in high voltage lines being paid well. They're putting their lives at risk.
Right.
But secretaries, clerks, drivers, people who are making 40% more than other city workers who are making 20% more than workers in the civilian workforce. It's a bottomless pit that's been sucking our money, and they're asking for absolutely unlimited rate increases. They're asking us to pay 50 to 100% more for less water. I mean, that is totally out of control, and it's out of control because its union runs the DWP. 95% of the workers are in the union. The union spends millions of dollars every election season to own every single politician. And with the other city unions, these people aren't serving us. They're serving the unions, the developers, the special interests. And that's why the city's going broke, and why pipes are breaking, and why none of our problems are being dealt with. This is coming to a climax now, and I think it's the sinkhole and flooding problem is a symptom of what we're going to have to confront, that things are just totally out of control.
Charlotte, would you agree with that?
I totally agree with what Ron is saying. I was actually in Studio City on Saturday with the Studio City spill, and it was so disheartening to see all this water pouring into the street when we have a water crisis. But the infrastructure in Los Angeles is falling apart. And what's really upsetting is that DWP gets all this money, and what I read is $174 million last year was put into the general fund. So in other words, it's being taken from what it was supposed to be used for and being used for other purposes. In fact, it's $10 billion over the past 10 years. And my council, I'm on the Greater Valley Glen Council, we recently made a resolution, which we're sending to the city council, saying that when certain money is allocated a certain way, it should be used for that purpose. It actually seems very dishonest to be using it for ways that the taxpayer did not intend.
All right, Ron, we've got 30 seconds on this topic. I'm going to give you the last word. So basically what you were saying, Charlotte, you seem to be agreeing here, is that the union is basically strangling the DWP, and in turn, city services are not being provided for because the people are taking the money. 30 seconds, Ron. Yes or no?
The unions have taken the city hostage, and instead of layoffs, instead of cutting costs, they're getting a sweetheart contract that costs $130,000 to $150,000 for each employee who takes early retirement, in addition to all the other benefits and things they're getting. It is totally out of control, and until the people of this city wake up, there's a 75-year backlog in street and sidewalk paving. They've allowed the city to rot, and they've gouged the public, and we've been docile and stupid while special interests and employee unions have taken over our city.